Okay, well, I am James Arnold Taylor. I am the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi and many other things, and I want to tell you all about it. But people say, how did you begin, James? And I say it was a long time ago in the studio, or legacy, because it's Star Wars. Oh, yeah, okay, good. But I gotta ask you, first off, hey, did you guys like that movie Summer '78 that you saw up on the screen? So that was a film I did with a young filmmaker by the name of J.C. Reichenberg. And J.C. and I put that together with a group of filmmakers. And that was our little tribute to J.J. Abrams. So I hope you all appreciated that and liked it. It's going to be on YouTube after Star Wars Weekends, but it's exclusive to Star Wars Weekends right now, thanks to the folks at Disney. All right, so let me ask you a question. Feedback. What's the line from Princess Leia? You know, she says in the first movie, which is actually the fourth movie, but it's not really the fourth movie, it's the first movie. It's the first one that came out. It's not the fourth one because there's a lot of them. Anyway, what's the line from Princess Leia? Somebody over here probably knows, right? Do you know what that line is? Okay. So she wants help. So what does she say? Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Do you think if we all summon the Force and we said that line together, we might get Obi-Wan to show up? What do you think? Tori's in the booth here. The Force is... Let's hear it for Tori, okay? She's our sound person there. Tori, can you give us a little Obi-Wan music? Okay, so I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. You're going to say, help Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my hope. Okay, ready? Some of the Force, everybody. Come on, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Well, hello there. I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if a whole planet cried out at once. Welcome, everyone, to Obi-Wan and Beyond. Now, James, I understand the Obi-Wan part of the title, but the rest is beyond me.
Okay, well, good. Well, see, I voice more than just you, Master Obi-Wan. I do voices in TV and video games and movies and all sorts of things, and other characters, too.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I always knew the Force was strong with you. I should be watching via hologram from my post here.
Okay, and where is here? Where are you at?
I can't say for fear of the Empire monitoring this city, but if you think it's hot there with one sun, try 2. Move along, James.
Yeah, maybe I think I know where he might be. Okay, well, I gotta tell you, ever since I was 4 years old, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I was much younger there, but you see, I loved entertaining. I always knew I wanted to be an entertainer, and specifically do voices in cartoons. I loved it, so I started studying very hard, okay, kids? Studied very, very, very hard by watching a lot of cartoons. And reading comic books. Yeah, now see, I even made my own comics. I had my own hero, I called him The Sound. He used sound waves to create alternate realities for the bad guys. And I'd sit in my room for hours pretending to be the sound. It was a lot like this. I have control of all the sounds you hear. I fight crime and pursue justice. I am the sound. Right, yeah? See, because that's what it's like when you're a kid. You're dreaming and imagining of being a superhero, right? But in my head, it was much different. In my head, I was the sound. It was much bigger. It was like this. What we hear has me all reality. I control the frequencies. I can manipulate them at my will. Bending, stretching, and if necessary, breaking the boundaries of all you hear. Evildoers beware. I will find you. I will bring you to justice. I am the sound. That's what it's like when you're a kid, right? You're dreaming of doing all these things. Well, my dream was to be a voice actor. And it was to work very hard to make the same voices that I heard in my head come out of my mouth. And I loved studying the human voice. I loved studying radio and voiceover and where it all began. And in my studies of finding where it all began, what I found was... voiceover. Since the dawn of time, man used his voice to communicate and entertain. Which didn't always go over well. The first great leap in communicating and entertaining to the masses was the invention of radio. Good brings you all the entertainment that speaks to voice. Yes, radio is comedy.
Okay, who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
So who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean the fella's name.
Who?
The fella playing first base.
Who is on first?
Well, what are you asking me for? Drama. I love you, Margot.
And I love you, child.
There's someone else, isn't there?
No, child.
No. Then why don't you tell me who this is?
Hello, Margot.
Sports. The champ is looking to be in bad shape. The challenge is down on the ropes. He's giving the left and the right and the left and the right and still running on the left and running on the right. Music. Baby. Sweet Henry. Like sugar from a candy tree. On a kiss from the vine. News. Dateline Europe, 1945. The German High Command swept their forces to the Allies. Hitler's minions have given up the light. And suspense.
I'm telling you, whatever you do not open that door.
But I must see.
Trust me, nothing can prepare you for what is on the other side.
But I must not.
Hello, Margot. But radio is only the beginning. Voiceover is used in everything from film. Critics are calling it so-so. Not one of this year's best. From the director of a movie that did really well, the producers of another movie that did really well, comes a story that will touch your heart and make you believe your darkest fears will come true. Good television. Tonight's presentation is brought to you in living color by God Milk. Oh yeah! We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. To phone services.
If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and dial again.
What kind of movie would you like to see? Computers. You've got mail. Even video games.
See ya!
Announcers have come in all shapes, sizes, and styles. It's WrestleMania! This is your nightly news. Here's Johnny. Ask your doctor if breathing is right for you.
It's a new car! Be sure to get your parents' permission before going online.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night. Burger, fries, and acid. Leave me alone, queasy. Voiceover. Wherever there are words needing to be read, there will be a voice actor ready to read them. From now into the next millennium and beyond.
Thank you. I loved it. I think it's the coolest job in the world to be a voice actor, and I loved all sorts of voices. In fact, I loved puppets, too. They were some of my favorites. I love these guys.
Oh, Heber.
I noticed that some of these puppets' voices sounded a lot like other puppets' voices.
Oh, hello, Bert.
See, they were the same, but it didn't matter, right? They were awesome. Oh, and by the way, Kermit singing Rainbow Connection could pretty much bring the biggest bully on the playground to tears and save me from his wrath.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side?
It's so true.
So see, it was good for me to learn voices, because even though every year I was always the smallest kid in my class, I didn't really get picked on, though. I found that my mimicry actually helped me. You know, if I would recreate what everybody saw on their favorite TV show the night before, or if there was a movie that everybody loved, I'd recreate scenes from it to entertain them. This was before the internet and YouTube and DVDs and DVRs and VCRs were brand new back then. They were a fortune. So basically, for me and my friends, I was Devo. Shh, be very quiet. I'm on the toilet.
What's up, Doc? I'll tell you what's up. It's Ribbit season. Duck season. Ribbit season. Rabbit season. Duck season. Fire!
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but... Oh, I can't hold it. Bring it up, bring it up. Steve Austin, astronaut, a man barely alive. Gentlemen,
when the pod bay doors howl. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Kid, get us out of here.
I'm sorry, Michael. I'm afraid I can't do that.
False. James false. Snakes. Why don't have to be snakes?
E.T. Oh. Yep, life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it.
Your powers are weak.
You can't win it off. If you strike it down, I shall be much more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Oh, wait a second, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Like a DeLorean?
The way I see it, you gotta put a time machine into a car, why not do it some style? Besides, this stainless steel construction made the flux dispersal absolute. Look out!
Whoa, this is heavy. Thank you so much. I love doing all this stuff. I loved it so much that at the age of 16, I took all this talking to myself to the stage as a stand-up comic. At 17, I got a job at the local radio station. Within a year, I had my own show. By the time I was in my 20s, I had built my own home recording studio and started my own voiceover production company. And I loved what I did. I loved doing all of it, but I knew I really needed to get a Screen Actors Guild card and become a member of the union and do work in Hollywood. So some of my first work was for Disney, in fact, on Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom. And in fact, you can still hear me on that ride to this day, so listen for me if you can. And then also Disney's California Adventure. I did a lot of stuff for them when they first opened that park. Also, I doubled for celebrities, people like Michael J. Fox, for things like Stuart Little and Atlantis and the Lost Empire. I even got to take over for Michael in the sequel, Atlantis Milo's Return, which is now available on Disney's movie and Blu-ray. But you know, the biggest thing for a voice actor every day is showing your work, showing what you can do, putting it all out there, not being afraid to make a funny face or a funny sound, because that's what being a voice actor is about, selling everything with just your voice, making it all come to life that way. That's what I love about it. So the audition process is something I do on a daily basis, trying to show the writers and directors and producers that I'm the right person for the job. But in an audition, you have to be willing to give them whatever they want, and you never really know what to expect.
Okay, James, make yourself comfortable. We want you to sound very real, casual, conversational. We're looking to get this in about 1.7 seconds. Oh, and don't make it too announcer. For this first take, just give us whatever you have in mind, okay?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Great. We're rolling. Take one.
Use only as directed.
Great. Okay, let's try one a little more conversational.
Use only as directed.
Now more serious.
Use only as directed.
What if we needed it in 3.8 seconds instead of 1.7?
Use only as directed.
Okay, now stretch it out, but go back to 1.7 seconds.
Use only as directed.
How about with a German accent?
Use only as directed.
New York, maybe?
Hey, use only as directed. Forget about it.
British?
Use only as directed.
How about French?
Use only as directed.
Romanian?
Directed. Use only.
What does a woman sound like?
Use only as directed.
Whispering.
Use only as directed.
And more staccato.
Use only as directed.
How about a real announcery voice?
Use only as directed.
Now energize it.
Use only as directed.
Bigger and faster.
Use only as directed.
Faster and bigger.
Use only as directed.
Bigger.
Use only as directed.
Okay, stand by. Sounds real good, James. You know, we're actually thinking we're going to go with your first take. Thanks for coming in.
See, now you know why it's a padded role. But it's fun. I love doing it. I really love doing it. You know, one thing I never could have imagined though when I was a kid dreaming about being a voice actor that I would be voicing someday is video games. James, video games, they're everywhere. Why not? Because see, when I was a kid, video games looked like this. Okay, what are you gonna... voice. I gotta tell you, games have come a long way, and I've been very fortunate to be the voice of some really cool characters like Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank, Tidus from Final Fantasy X, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man,
The Silver Surfer, Professor Charles Xavier, Great Scott, young Doc Brown. I'm Hiccup and Fish Legs in How to Train Your Dragon, Prince Charming, Gigi the Gingerbread Man.
I'm also Arthur in all the Shrek games, and a voice of all the Minions.
And the Fallen Transformer.
You get to be at such a wide range when you work as a voice actor, and it's so much fun to do. And the other thing, well, thank you very much. My family's here. Okay. I gotta tell you though, being a voice actor, you're moving all the time. You're constantly in motion because you gotta go to this studio one day and then this studio another, and then all of them in the same day. It's not like working an on-camera actor that spends, maybe 3 months to a year on a specific film. We're always changing projects. So, give me an example. So I could start my day driving up to Burbank to do the voice of one of my favorite flame-headed 11-year-olds, Johnny Test. You guys know Johnny Test?
Whoa, wait a second, James. You do my voice on Johnny Test? That sounds totally awesome. What else do you do?
I'm also the voice of Dark Vegan on the show.
I'm Mr. Mickey.
And don't forget me, the Beekeeper. This just in, and I also voice Hank Anchorman on the show.
Whoa, I never would have guessed you were all of his voices.
Then I got to run over to Santa Monica and do an audition for the role of a wise old British wizard. Yes. No. It was a Cockney Blue Lizard. Yeah, that's it. No, it's... Hey, a guy from Jersey in a blizzard. That's what it is. Yeah, and then I got to get back in the car, drive over to Studio City to re-record some dialogue now that the show is animated. This is known as ADR, or Automatic Dialogue Replacement.
Thanks, Doc. I'm ready to get back to playtime.
And then I'm back in the car, over to my home studio where I patch in on the ISDN line for a quick promo for Fox.
It's Sunday, Monday, 7:30, 6:30 Central on Fox.
And back in the car one more time to yabba dabba do it over to Hollywood to do 2 of my favorite cereal commercial voices, Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, but they were delicious.
And the Strawberry Mini-Wheats. Hey guys, good family reunion. And then I'm back in the car one more time to Century City to voice what we call a tag, also known as that voice that comes on at the end of the commercial says for stuff you can never stand because talking so fast. Offer expires November 30th. See store for details. Batteries and include extra. Sold separate. Some required member. Yeah, see whoever prohibited use only is directed. Then I got to fight LA traffic just so I can make my way home and start all over again the next day. Now, I'm not complaining. I love what I do, but that is all in a day's work for a voice actor. Fun stuff. So you can see there's all sorts of different types of voice-over and voice actors and ways of recording. Now, if you're doing an animated TV show like The Clone Wars or Rebels, you're in the studio with the rest of the actors reading like an old-time radio, but it's a lot of fun.
Look, it's Kenobi.
Well, it's very terribly sorry.
Mr. Obi-Wan, look out!
Freeze, Jedi scum.
I have a bad feeling about this. Now, if you're doing an animated feature film, you're alone in the studio with just the director giving you lines to react to.
Scene 4, take 9. Please, don't leave me. You mean everything to me.
And you mean everything to me. I love you.
Oh, and I love you too. And cut.
Yeah, see, you may never even meet your co-stars. As a voice actor, I work with some of Hollywood's biggest names, but I gotta tell you, rarely are we in a room together, or do we even meet. But if you're doing a radio commercial, you're usually with the other voice actors.
Hey, Bob, what's wrong?
Oh, it's this headache.
Well, here, try this.
Use only as directed.
Yeah, that's my line. Okay, if you're doing a narration, you're alone. A promo or a trailer, you're alone in the studio. A video game, alone again, naturally. Now, you also have to know your tools, the microphone and the headphones. See, you can't get into the studio and be startled by the sound of your own voice in the headphones.
That's me? I sound so high-pitched.
Never hear yourself recorded and thought that? Well, see, that's because we all hear ourselves bigger, deeper, with more bass than everybody else is hearing us, because we hear ourselves through our own heads, not just our ears.
Hey, baby. Yeah, that's more like it.
So you can't be surprised when you hear yourself and then back off the microphone and not be so loud. Oh, and speaking of loud, you can't wear loud clothing, like a finely starched shirt, leather jacket, or leather pants, jingly jewelry, or worst of all, squeaky shoes. sounding mouths or plosive he's or be's or sibilant s's. S. And when you say words that start with those letters, slightly turn your head away from the microphone or hold a pencil in front of your mouth, which you can also use as a sound effect for chattering teeth, which is appropriate because most studios are freezing. Okay, so you just don't want to be too close to the mic, but not too far. If you're going to yell, you slightly back off. If you're going to whisper, you just lean in a little. So you just have to know and enjoy the dance with your partner, the microphone. So you can see that...
Well done, James. No doubt all that experience prepared you for your greatest voice challenge.
Oh, yeah, Fred Flintstone. Great story. Let me tell you about it.
No.
Well, Johnny Test, I talked about that.
No. I was referring to a certain Jedi.
Oh, of course, duh. Plo Koon, I'm gonna forget.
Between you and Anakin, why do I bother?
Okay, I know it's Star Wars weekend, but some of you may not know, but Plo Koon is actually another Jedi in the world of Star Wars, and I was a very fortunate actor that got to voice him for 6 seasons on the Clone Wars. It was a great honor for me because our director on the show, Dave Filoni's favorite character was Plo Koon. And in fact, the direction Dave gave me when coming up with the voice was just one word. He said to me, Gandalf. He wanted that Ian McKellen sound. Very rich, bold, British, and very, certain of himself. And it's said that a great thespian like that could read pretty much anything and make it sound dramatic, exciting, or compelling, like speaker instructions, or let's try the phone book.
Smith.
Joel.
316. Willow. 5. 5, 5. 4, 2. 3. 1. Stereo speaker installation. Walls connecting the left and right speaker interfaces. One must be certain to make the connections properly. For if the cords are not firmly plugged in, no sound shall pass!
Thank you. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Slow that.
Obi-Wan. Now that's a name I actually hear all the time. That's right, yeah. But I never could have imagined when I was a kid, 7 years old, when I first saw Star Wars and it changed my life, that old Ben Kenobi and I would someday be connected in some way. And that when Luke Skywalker says that line, you know it. That I get to say it someday. Of course I know. It's me. Now, my journey with Obi-Wan Kenobi began back in 2002 for the micro series of the Clone Wars. If anybody ever saw that, it was a lot of fun. Thank you. And we were also doing the Revenge of the Sith video game at the time, and I had to match Ewan McGregor's voicing, recreating scenes like this one right here.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness! To my brother Anakin, I loved you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ewan McGregor, what a fantastic actor, and Alec Guinness, of course, synonymous with the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But here's a little fun fact for you. I have actually voiced more Obi-Wan Kenobi than any other actor over the last 3 years. So it's been really fun. I even got to suit up as him in a fan-made film called Hughes the Force, which combined John Hughes movies and Star Wars. But back when we started the Clone Wars, director Dave Filoni and George Lucas gave us the freedom to create our own versions of these characters and really make them our own. And I gotta tell you, that's one of the coolest things as a voice actor to get to do. The thing I love about Star Wars Weekend is getting to meet all those young ones. You go out to the crowd and see everybody and say, coming up to someone and saying, well, do you know what Obi-Wan Kenobi and I have in common? Look at that.
Why, we we share the same voice.
There you go, my friend. Obi-Wan Kenobi and I have a great connection because I'm a Star Wars fan before I'm a voice actor. And I love providing his voice, but I love the drama, the romance, the beauty of Star Wars. And there's nothing like getting into a studio, getting behind that microphone, and saying that line. The Force will be with you always. You got a little gift there you can sell on eBay. All right, you guys having a good time? Thank you. Well, one last example. Now, see, I mentioned voice doubling. I voice doubled Ewan McGregor. What that is just like a stunt person, you know. Actors have stunt people. They also have voice doubles. So if they're not available to do their own voice for something, they might get someone like myself to fill in for them. I've got to do that for so many years for so many great actors. It's a great honor for me. And through all my journeys of studying the human voice and what it can do, I've noticed that all voices are tones. And essentially, you can get from one tone to the next by just changing small parts of your voice. Dropping it down in pitch and raising it up. Giving it an accent or giving it a little haze or a little texture to it, right? I want to give you an example. So let's just start with my regular voice. Okay, somewhere right around here. And we'll make it just a little more nasal. And we'll bring it up and we might find Michael Emerson from the TV show Lost. He had such a way of talking that everything he said sounded a little creepy. Just a little off. Now, if you take the creep factor out, make it a little more folksy and friendly, you get Ron Howard.
Lose the folk and give it some soul, and now it's Justin Timberlake, and it's becoming like a social network of voices. Use some wizardry in a British accent, you get Daniel Radcliffe.
Lay it back in a little twang. All right. Don't get over get a little and it's because Heath Ledger is the Joker, and he completes me. Push it over to the front of your mouth and hang, you get Christian Slater and you drop down and down his jackets.
You raise it back up and seem less interested and spare. You are...
Oh, Nick Weldon. Did I totally sound like, well, wait a second, Doc, it's me again. Oh, this is heavy, so let's drop it down a tone and add a little more texture in it. Shia LaBeouf. Oh, wait a second, Optimus. You mean to tell me that my car is a robot? Oh, this is like unbelievable. I gotta go tell Sandy because it's crazy the way these voices intertwine, you know. The way I break out my sentence structure is not that dissimilar to a smaller than the average man. Hey, Ruffy boy. Hey, Fred, you know there, Sandy. To properly connect the voices here, you just gotta hurdy-burdy. Gunga. You talking to me? Huh? You talking to me? Gunga, come in. Huh? Well, for carpet, I'm sorry, it's just... I love you, Spartacus. Oh, and I love me too, yes. Wait a minute, Dum-Dum. You sound like me. All right, nobody panic. Panic's my middle name.
You'll be Oh, Yogi, I'm gonna have to tell Mr. Ranger, and he's gonna have to come off when you're coming through. Oh, yeah, like a can of spinach. Well, blow me down and...
Hoo-ha, okay. You ever notice Al Pacino's voice is slowly turning into, Jimmy Katowski from Taxi? Okay. I mean, great Scott, there's a direct correlation between voices. This is temporal experiment number 1. If you take Dr. Emmett Brown and teach him karate, you get Hong Kong fluid. Number 1, super guy. Give him a bit of a British accent, you might find John Hurt lurking about in there. Yes, very good. Take the British accent away, bring it down here, and you might find Paul. Who you take and drop down a tone is Christian Bale as Batman. Take him down. Almost whisper it's Jack Ryan. Actually, I think it's this one, punk. Bill, go ahead, make my voice. That depends on your definition of the word voice. Even on a super story, you might find that voice, hey, honey, in there. Who always seems to start a sentence down here. But by the end, he's really hot and way up here. Really nice person like Frank Kelly doing John Madden.
What Dana Carvey doing Regis Philbin? He's out of control. Not gonna do Dana Carvey doing George Bush with Big Cruise. Not gonna do Dana Carvey doing Johnny Carson. Of course, if I want to do the real Johnny Carson, I gotta keep my voice up and down and tone right about there. Hi-ho, we've got a great show for you tonight. No, Mike. It's not Johnny Carson, it's Johnny Depp. It's not Yo-Ho, it's hi-ho. Now, sometimes I'm a pirate, other times, I'm a chocolate tear. Oh, this is making me lighter than a hatter, Alice. Oh, that's funny. It was the matter than the hatter. Whoa, funny how? Funny like I'm a clown, like I'm here to amuse you, huh? Because I'm not a clown. Oh, that chicken hawk, and you're almost a chicken.
No, I like the ones with the peanut, yeah. Wah, ha, ha, ee, yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how she starts. And running and screaming.
It's very bad for your relationship, you know. Oh yeah, totally, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Oh, either way, it's a no-win situation. I'm Robert Brooks, and I'm Jay Baruchel. We basically have the same voice. So if you take it and you move it sideways, you get Paul Giamatti. Or is it Paul Rising? You know what I'm saying? But the real question is, who are these people? So it's like a school of all these crazy voices like put together, right?
Yes, near and far. Right, Ricky. Did you say pretty? Because I gotta tell you, I get more respect at all. Yeah, but if I did, that'd be right, Kazoo. Yeah, but damn, but don't do. Oh, Mary. Oh, let's say this whole thing is making me quite mental. Oh, hear me. Oh, shut up. Fuck, Scott,
Judy, get me off this crazy thing, lighting the thing into flaming into Huygen.
Heavens to Murgatroyd, exit stage lifting fun. Flip.
With a Ricky then, ring it around town. Okay. You know, matter of fact, we got a great show for you tonight, but I don't do Jimmy Fallon's voice, so that's all, folks. Thank you. Very kind. That's not all. Thank you. I'm just catching my breath. I got 200 more I gotta do.
Well, now I'm impressed. However, I think it wise to wrap it up and end on this high note. You know, spending time with you, James, has made time with Anakin seem almost dull. So, it appears my transmission is breaking up. James, I let's say goodbye to all of you now, and may the force be with you. Always.
Thank you, Master Kenobi. Hey, did you guys have a good time? Great. Stick with me just a few more moments then, if you could, because we have such great stuff here at Star Wars Weekends, and I hope you get to experience the fireworks tonight and everything too, but I just want to thank all of you for letting me share my life, my crazy little life as a voice actor. Something that I never could have dreamed as a kid would become what it is now. I only hoped that it could. And that's the whole thing about dreams and goals, isn't it? Preparing for them. The other thing you have to prepare for, though, is knowing that there's going to be bad that comes with the good. February 13, 2005 was certainly the bad for me. It was a day that changed my life because it was the day I lost my voice. I couldn't speak. Due to black toxic mold that grew in our house that I discovered, I got very sick, lost my voice for a very long time, and had to recover, had to figure it all out, had to get better. And I didn't know exactly where to start, but you know, I had a wonderful wife, and she's with me, God bless her, through all of this, and helped me get through it. And we were adopting our daughter from China at the time, and 8 months after February 13th, when we got to hold our daughter for the first time, we started to see what is now a bright, healthy future. We saw a promise in that adoption day, because when you get your adoption paperwork for your child, you find out the birthday. Guess what? February 13th, 2005 was my daughter's birthday. It was the day that changed my life. It is, thank you. There's promises out there. You just gotta know how to look for them. You gotta believe that they're there. You gotta believe that in the bad stuff, the stuff that changes your life for the worst, can also be there to help you for the best. And there's so many different things that we question in our lives. And when I got sick, I got very sick. I couldn't speak for a long time. And I started questioning, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? What is all this about? You start questioning your identity. Well, there were things in my life that never really added up. Because I gotta tell you, I was always the shortest person in my family, too. Never looked like anybody. Never really fit the same as everybody else in my family with my siblings and such. And through a very long and dramatic story, cut to the chase, I found out through all of this that the person I thought was my father was not. and my real father did exactly what I did. And there was great hope for me in that. Turns out he was a guy that got us started in radio, a guy that emceed and hosted events and shows and television and TV. It was amazing stuff to find out that I actually had this in my genes, in my blood, in my DNA. It was a part of me. And that's the message I want to give you. Is there's stuff that's in you that you may desire to do, that you may dream about doing, that you may have as goals someday. You know what? Go for it. I'm just here to tell you, go for it. Because that journey that started with a really bad thing has turned into a beautiful blessing in my life and in my family's life. And all the things that I never thought made sense, I've been able to put the pieces together. And it's because the bad started. So what's going on in your life? What isn't hitting the right place? What is making you go, why? You know what? It's probably there to build you up. I hope it is. It's my belief that it is. Because all those things that have ever knocked me down have been there to make me stronger at the end. And make me do things that I couldn't have done without them. So write down those dreams. Write down those goals. Believe in them. Have somebody in your life that you can have hold you accountable to them. And it'll help. Certainly I have my family, my friends, and they're wonderful. They're here, and I'm so grateful for it. But they get to see all of the beauty that comes from my dreams. You know what? I want to see the beauty that comes from all of your dreams. And I'm talking to moms and dads and grandparents as well, not just kids. It's great to want to be a celebrity or whatever, but you know what? It's great to want to be you, the best you can be. It's great to be the best mom, dad, grandparent, kid in your life. You don't have to change the whole world. You've got to change your life. So believe that you can. Because if I didn't believe that I could do this, I would have given up when I lost my voice. But I didn't. I found ways to fight through it, to rebuild my health. And all these things now benefit me so much better. So believe in your dreams. Go after your dreams and change the world that is around you. Please, when you get home tonight, write it down. What's that dream that you've kept back here? Write it down. Look at it. See how you can achieve it. I bet it's not that far away. Because you heard a lot of different people here tonight. You heard me do all sorts of different things. But you got to remember, it was all one man with one throat. But it was indeed
many, many voices. You and me, Global Daredevil, the magician of Henry, little guy with a big voice in the little pad room.
Just me talking to myself. Thank you so much. God bless you. Enjoy Star Wars weekend.